I'm conscious.
Now what?
What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Yeah. Hold it. What you talking about, doctor?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of I'm Conscious. Now what? What an amazing day today. What an amazing new life today that I'm having. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, last night I became so lucid. I actually made love to my mind. I just let my mind envelop me and just, oh my God, I'm feeling real bubbly, real bubbly. Great to have everybody here. We're going to have a very, very interesting, packed, detailed show today. Lucid dreams. We've been getting a lot of comments, a lot of questions. People saying you should do something about lucid dreams. And so we just decided, because we've been going through some very lucid times, a lot of you out there, that we would do a show and allow a few of you to actually call in and share some of your lucid dreams. The only cap that we have to put on this, because I got some lucid dreams that were an hour in time, and to write that out and try to explain an hour worth of lucid dreams, we can't allow it on the show. So kind of pick out some of the shorter lucid dreams just so you can share your energy. I'm going to share one. Ryan's going to share one. We're going to take some calls. We're going to have a very, very, very good time. And we're also going to give you some dream recall tips, which are very, very helpful in helping you become not only lucid in what they call a dream state, or I like to call them parallel timelines, but to also become lucid in your awakening state, the so-called three-dimensional state. We were having a conversation about this. I'm to the point now where I'm actually lucid in this awakening state, as if like it's a dream. And when I first started tapping into this energy, it was kind of hard for me. Like, I was like, damn, which one is real? Is this the dream, or is you know what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? So we are just experiencing some amazing energy. I'm so blissful to be alive, conscious, alive in this time, right now. This is the perfect timing. I got my brother from another mother way across the pond. Got some great news. The book is done. Ryan JC, man, bring us up to date, bro. What's up?
Spoiler. Yeah. Last night I finished my side of the writing, in the sense that I've written everything I wanted to write. It's all structured the way I want to structure it. It's edited so many times over and grammar checked from many perspectives, many of my own perspectives throughout the year that I've been writing it, including a program called Grammarly, which is very attentive. It's just very, very good at noticing issues, So over the past week, I've basically, well, I can't say I've finished the book, because technically I've finished the book, but I want to get some human eyes on the book, some more beta readers, published authors, blog people who maintain a blog, or any journalists out there also, to keep looking at it, because right now I'm too short. Literally, I've got 2 people, 2 spots left until I hit a specific amount of beta readers, but I'd like to have quite a few. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. The book is, dare I say, done. That's pretty much it. That and dotting the I's and crossing the T's in this place. Everything that needed to be done is now pretty much coming to an end, and I can start decorating and getting my little downstairs studio set up. And pertaining to lucid dreaming and waking life, I've got quite a few. Nothing you guys probably haven't already heard. Let's put it that way, because there is a whole chat section on my YouTube channel titled Lucid Dreaming. So, but if something else does come up, I'll let you guys know during today's broadcast. But yeah, everything's good.
Everything's good across the pond. Hey, just like to take this time to catch you guys up. Of course, we need you. We love you. We need your support. And what do I mean by support? Support is just hitting the like button. If you like the movement that we're doing, you like when we go live, hit that like button. That like button helps us with the YouTube algorithms based on different keywords, based on different topics. It helps us get more exposure to the show. More exposure means more energy, more people joining this energy, just partaking in what we got going on right here. And also after the duration of this show, there'll be a little share button right up under the video. It takes maybe, I don't know the time, but maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. You can hit that share button. And I'm asking you, just do your part. That's support, right? Take that link and put it on your social media platform, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, whatever. And just, hey, tweet it out. I'm conscious now what? We had a great show talking about lucid dreaming. It really, everything helps. Today is Sunday, so I'm conscious nowwhat.com is going to be updated, new news, new videos, new insider reports. So make sure you go over to imconsciousnowwhat.com, right, for the insider reports, things that I no longer really get into on this call because the eyes are watching us and they're waiting. Lucid dreamers. We might as well, before we do that, I love you guys so much. Let's go over to the chat, Ryan. Let's see the regulars. The regulars are here. Who is watching us today? Now you have to type something in the chat or I won't see you. We got Ken is joining us. Let's get some hearts going. Welcome. Chris Smith is here. Ugly Casanova. Well, I love these names. Ugly Casanova is here with us. YOLO is here. JH is here in the chat. Thank you for stopping by. Love the energy. Davey is here. Let's see. Twisted Sun is here. Look at the hearts, all of the love. Skeptical Mind is a regular, always here. Tanisha, glad to have you here. They're going so fast now. Zion is here. Dizzy is here. Oh man, look at all of the love. We love you. We love you, our regulars. You're going so fast, I can't even read them. Sarah is here. Christopher Lynn is here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with us. And let's get into the meat and potatoes of this show because time, that illusion of time, Ryan, when we have these great topics, that illusion of time is never on our side when we get into this. So lucid dreaming. Cropper, and you know what? I'm going to piggyback you on this one because what I've done, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, this is my dream journal. And I'll start off with the dream journal, just real basic stuff. I have a dream journal and a walking life journal. Because one thing that I've noticed in my journey and in my progression of ascending is just writing things down and going back and reading over that information, whether it's a dream, whether it's something that happens to me in this awakening state and what it's actually doing. Because I can kind of discern it now. Because when I first started, I was like a lot of you, oh shit, I ain't writing nothing down, man. You know, everybody say write it down. Does that really work? And it does. It really does. Excuse me. What I found out just from writing those dreams down right after I'm conscious that I'm awake from a dream, having that dream journal right on the side of my bed and writing down right then and there, it triggers something to my subconscious mind that I am conscious and that I am aware that I am conscious in this, I like to call them parallel timelines, but we'll just say dreams to keep it simple for now. It's letting my subconscious know, hey, I know that that's me. in that other timeline, because I'm writing this information down and it's very important. I'm taking the time out, and this is becoming repetitious, and this is going up higher and higher and higher on my priority list in my everyday awaking state. See, that subconscious, as I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, all the time, it doesn't respond to that right and wrong, good and bad shit that we've been taught. These spells, this English and all of this. It goes by repetition and emotion and what you focus your will and your desire on. It gives you more of that. You know what I'm saying? So when I just start writing everything down, my dream recall is just like, it's almost I won't go that far and say it's almost like this awakening state, but it's pretty damn close to whereas I catch myself in this awakening state. And I said this before, doing some of the things that I do in my dreams to become lucid. And I catch myself looking at my hands, touching walls, feeling things to make sure that I am in a awakening state and not in the dream state, the parallel timeline. So number one, and I know this is very, very basic, but maybe you'll take it from me and Ryan today because we're all so close and we're building this relationship. Get you a dream log. I'm telling you. And at first, it's going to be a little rough because you're not used to writing at 3 and 4 in the morning. You know what I mean? Because if you just recall, you wake up a lot of times in the middle of the night, sometimes around 1, 3, 4, 6 a.m. Those are my awakening times, right? And I just got used to writing at those times. But in the beginning, you'll wake up from a dream and you're sitting there and that dream is right there on your mind. Like, wow, that was a cool dream. Or wow, you know, I was dreaming. If you don't jot that down right then and there, you might have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, who knows, more dreams that night. And it's just erasing and wiping away, you know, these events, these dream events as they're happening. And by the time you wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, we're so programmed. Some of you got to be at work. Some of you got to get up and you know, get the kids dressed for school. Some of you work from home. It's gone. You're thinking of something else. Okay. So just a simple tip. And I'm going to read a lucid dream out of this book in very, very detail. The book doesn't seem like much when they say, oh, get a dream log. We read that and just jump to the next one. What's really the secret there of becoming lucid? I'm telling you. Writing those dreams down and opening that book and reading those dreams the next day, just getting in the habit of reading that book, it becomes reality. That you become lucid in those dreams. Okay. So I'm gonna throw it over to Ryan a little bit so he could piggyback off of that. Ryan, how important when you first got into this, how important was that dream log for you in the beginning, helping you become lucid?
During the times that I actually had the patience to read it, because I was, you know, there was a certain amount of excitement I had when it came to the dream journal, which I needed actually in order to even want to pick up the journal, because I couldn't at the time read my own handwriting, you know, because I used to scribble everything down. My headspaces would be so different that my writing would be different every time I wrote something down every morning. Sometimes the font would be slanted, sometimes it would be big and bold letters, and that's because I've been so many different versions of myself throughout my life that either one of them just, you know, takes the driver's seat. So I'll be writing in a different character every morning. So some people or some characters that I used to write as would be very difficult to read the writing that I was putting down. So that kind of made me not want to read it. But I did learn how to recondition my handwriting so that I would at least understand what was being written down. And it was important because I made the connection a very long time ago. I think I always go back to either 16, 18 or 9 or 8. Whenever I go through different periods of my life reminiscing, I'd say I was around about 15, 16. When I actually started to give a crap about stuff like this, you know, because usually we'll be really distracted by life and we'll shelf spirituality. We'll get back to it, right? But there is a moment within our lives where it takes that that number one spot, that priority. You know, we make it mandatory to write down our dreams. So, or even to meditate or to astral project, anything like that. So, okay, I'd read them, and I started to notice the similarities between the things that were showing up within my dream and what I was involved with throughout my week, day, month, and sometimes even year, depending on where my headspace is at. If I just sat there all day and I just started to look at, I guess, photos of girlfriends, best friends, childhood memories where I'm sat next to Santa Claus, him giving me a 101 Dalmatians pencil for Christmas and a pink sharpener, you know, in our center, Eden Center, or in other words, shopping mall. My mindset would be as that 5-year-old kid. So whenever I would come out of a dream after reminiscing the previous night, that dream would then resemble everything that happened during those years within my early childhood, within that 5 years. Okay. Now I can be 20 now and just have a recall of my memories, go to sleep and dream something, which is a combination of my surroundings, my discussions with people, moments within my life at that age, which really made an impression on me psychologically, which has come to the forefront throughout that dream sequence. So, you know, when it comes to interpreting dreams, if you want to interpret someone else's dream, you really have to know a lot about them. You know, you really do have to sit with them and think, okay, well, how's your mindset been within the past couple of weeks? What have you been doing? You know, because you need to gauge where their headspace is coming from, what time period it's coming from within their life, what's been going on within their life, how certain things within their dreams can resemble what's been going on within their life. It's not as easy as just sitting up here saying, oh, you saw a blue butterfly, that means manifestation. Because the fact of the matter is, everyone's consciousness is wired differently. We all interpret things differently. Pink butterfly to me means Alice in Wonderland. It doesn't mean manifestation to me. So if I'm seeing a pink butterfly in my dreams, it's not going to mean manifestation to me. So if somebody's telling me it means manifestation and I know that it doesn't, I obviously understand that person who's telling me that stuff doesn't quite know about psychology, you know? So if you're out there and you're Googling, I saw a black whale in my dream state, what does that mean? You're going to come up with, more often than not, the wrong information as it pertains to your consciousness. Now, that is only if you're different from the rest of the public, okay? Everyone plugs into the think tank of society. So most people are thinking the same anyway, and that is why you can often predict what somebody's dream sequence means, okay? So if you got a house over there on your right and they're all drunk and they all love football and drinking and having sex and watching certain things, they've been very intertwined with society, conditioning and so forth. And you've got a house on your left over here, and the occupants of that house have also been under the same conditioning. Odds are their dream states are going to mean the same thing. If their teeth are falling out, then it means they're worried, you know, because they're a part of that same think tank, that same think group. But if you're like a starseed or an indigo or somebody who's just not plugged into the matrix, then your dreams are going to resemble something more personal when it comes to you, not so much everyone else. Okay, and it's oftentimes, I've noticed there is a rise in people like us who are not a part of everybody else in the sense of conditioning, looking into what their dreams mean or what numbers mean, double digits. And you're like, there's like an 89% chance, if not more, that everything you come across online is going to be wrong. The only way you can properly decipher seeing double digits or determining what certain things mean within your dream state is by understanding yourself and by traveling through the pathways of your mind through lucid dreaming. Mainly, that's the main importance of lucid dreaming. My opinion, a lot of people don't agree. A lot of people think lucid dreaming is only good for walking into somebody else's dream to have a conversation. Now, in your perspective, like what would you think is better? Seeing somebody in a dream or knowing everything about yourself and fixing everything about yourself, psychological issues and all that jazz. To me, that holds more value, more weight than just visiting somebody you know. It's that fixing of the mind and understanding of how you're wired, you know. But to each their own. So that's pretty much some of my take on lucid dreaming, other than an experience I had. Do you want to chime anything in there, Derek?
Yeah, I just want to touch back on. That's why I love the everyone that calls into this show, whether you know it or not. I learned something new. I just download from the most minute caller that you might say, "Oh, she was cool," or they weren't. I'm always downloading. I'm always focusing in on, these calls, because I realize now when people call in, they're not calling in by chance. It's the perfect time. They were drawn to this energy. And Ryan, you said something about the different handwritings. And as you were talking, I was just looking through my dream journal. And there's maybe, like 4 or 5 different manuscript styles. And I just became conscious of that. Do you know what I used to push that away on? Oh shit, I must have been really tired that night. You understand what I'm saying? But when you just said that, I have 4 or 5 different writing styles, from it slanting to the right on this one, this particular. And I just became conscious of that when you said it. So what I downloaded, go ahead, my friend, go ahead.
So what you need to do is basically think about the times where you used to write like that once, like you individually take those styles and like draw like a timeline of your life and mark, or at least photocopy the style and like put it on that timeline to those areas of your life where you used to write like that. Those dreams signify those areas of your life. So you can properly interpret the message within those moments of your life back then. That's fun. Talk about past life.
Always be learning. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you guys a question, just to jumpstart this lucid dreaming. I'm going to run over to the chat to actually look at the response from these questions so we can kind of measure where you're at. Have your out-of-body experiences and lucid dreams, have they become as important to you right now at this time? And you can answer this by yes or no. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just kind of a gauge so I can see where we are. Have your lucid dreams and your out-of-body experience have become just as important to you right now at this time as your real quote-unquote walking state? Is there a priority to write those dreams down? Is it a priority to become lucid in those dreams? Is it a priority? You just can't wait to go to sleep, to go to visit parallel timelines, and you get so excited when it's time to go to sleep because you know you're shifting consciousness from the physical to the non-physical. Okay, so the chat is, so I can see yes, very much. Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes, see, not yet for Ken. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. See, yes, totally. See, this allows us. I did for a time, not anymore since I'm really busy. See, that's the time thing, the illusion of time. Would like it to be yes, lucid dreaming, yes. Nothing yet. Yep. Honestly, no. When I was younger, yes. Okay. And the reason why I asked that question is a lot of things that we talk about, it's kind of hard to discern it with ego. If we're talking about parallel timelines and things that we're manifesting and experiences out of body, and we're talking about it like it's really happening in our life, in our world, because some people look at you, and I'm sure some of you've experienced this. I find myself talking to family members and friends, and I'm just talking about these lucid dreams and these experiences that I'm having. And I'm so excited and I'm so vibrant and full with energy. I can feel them. They don't even have to say it. I can feel them thinking, damn, this joker actually think that shit is real. He's talking about it like it's really happening. Damn, have y'all talked to Derek in a while? He's fucking out his mind. You know what I'm saying? But you'll get to that point. And we talked about that on a previous show, that you'll find yourself, and I know I went through this, Cropper. I don't know if you experienced this. I found myself being conscious of, and it's a major setback. It was a setback for me, trying to stay balanced with the one-dimensional thinkers, because I knew I was multidimensional. But when I would go out, I would find myself becoming conscious of what I would say and what I wouldn't say. And that's, when you're trying to live this life lucid and we're ascending, that's kind of a setback. Crop, did you ever go through that transition, where you had to, you were conscious of, you were actually conscious of what you would say and what you wouldn't say, because you already realized that this person in front of you was one-dimensional, and you really didn't want to get in a pissing match about your lucid dreams or your perception of reality? Did you, or are you still experiencing that?
Still experiencing. I think that's the only way to experience it. It deals with flow and with communication skills. You need to understand who you're talking to, and you've got to pick and choose your experience. Do you want to bring up something that you know is going to trigger this individual? Do you want to bring that up, trigger them, then experience confrontation? Or do you want to word it differently? Do you want to get past their blockages and their, that they put up their arms and everything, and that shield? I literally communicate to people in the way that I know they will either receive me, or I just won't communicate to them at all. They're just not worth my time. Because at this point, I've gotten tired of listening to 3D people. I've gotten tired of talking to characters and not talking to the being inside the meat suit. It's a waste of my time. So I would literally, and even then, just saying that it's a waste of my time, there is a way, when I say that, in those moments, you gotta understand, in those moments, if I'm getting a lot of 3D conflict, I know exactly what to do, how to speak, how to pose, how to look, in order to become another character, so that I play into that role of their experience of somebody who doesn't give a crap. And then I literally become that character, then I move out of their space. If I don't become that character, then I disappear. What do I mean by that? Well, once somebody's looking at you, you're in their bubble. So regardless, you're going to shift into some sort of character, because now you're a part of their reality. If you're not a character, before they set eyes on you, before you interact with them, then you can literally, it's like they don't even look at you. They don't look at you. You don't have an urge to say anything to them, because you're fully aware of what's going on. And you're pretty much invisible until you want to engage into anyone else's bubble, anyone else's world. Ego deals with 3D communication, but mainly it deals with the perception of 3D, the bubble of people. Earth itself isn't actually 3D. If you look at it, it's like the vibration of consciousness one puts out. Anything inside of that field is 3D perception. It's like it's an internal script of guidelines for anybody to come in and interact with. You have to follow their script in order to interact with them and other experiences of their life. Okay. Outside that script, outside of other people's auras who are unconscious, there is a vast amount of potential there to experience new information, new perceptions of reality, and literally to walk in a different vibrational state, be that the 4th, 5th, 6th, and other states of dimensional ways of living and even perceiving reality. That's why people say all dimensions live on top of this one. Mm-hmm. Really, it's the people that are projecting the dimensional layers. It's not so much the Earth. The Earth has gone past that. It's not even. It really never has been of a low vibration. It's always the people that channel that perception, that code. So I literally just either tune into their code and mirror back a character that they in their script has written. You know, I'm just reflecting back their vibration, all of their vibration, not their character per se, but you know what I mean, that script, the characters they expect to show up within their life. And then I just walk away. And the cool thing is because I'm connected to all characters in the cloud or the Ethernet, I can become many different people, many. And it's taken me a while to make this character the way I like it. You know, the funny one, because it feels good. It's more of a high vibratory state of being. And that's what every soul wants. It's to resonate at a high frequency. So there's a lot on that. Very confusing stuff, not unless I break it down in layman's terms. But that's pretty much what I do. I still encounter it. The only difference now is that I've chosen where I'm at in life so that I'm not around those types of people. So right now where I'm living, I'm not seeing that vibration anymore. I'm not seeing those codes, those scripted dialogues of people, those expectations. I'm not around that. In this space, it's free. But if I go outside and I bump into somebody, then all of a sudden I have to play a role. And it doesn't mean that I have to abide. It's more like I said, flow, because I can also project frequency characters and make them behave a certain way to comply to my field of existence or my reality. But it's more like a dance in that sense. You're both reflecting off each other and you're both expecting them to say certain things. It's really cool, but it's on a whole nother level. Most people aren't even aware of this energy. It's definitely multidimensional. And to have that level of awareness, you need to be very lucid in 3D, like the same amount of lucidity, if not more, than you have in your dreams, until eventually you'll hear and everything just feels like it's you. You know how the system's put together. You know how to manipulate people. And people hate it when I say that, but that's the truth. You manipulate people in your dream state, right? Because they're you. So of course you're going to get people doing that here once they become enlightened to a certain degree. It's just the way it is. Now, manipulate for the good or the bad. Honestly, to get to the point where I'm at, you need to be resonating pretty high, meaning you need to be holding a good positive vibrational frequency. People like me can't do bad to people. So obviously we're not going to manipulate others for the wrong reasons. Right. And a lot of people have that perception because they're resonating at a low frequency. That's all that makes sense. When you're resonating at a fear-based frequency, you hear the word manipulation. You think they're going to manipulate me for this, that, and the other. And it's just because of where you're coming from. You're resonating low. But again, it's that perception issue. It's that block. And a lot of people can't even sit there and think to themselves, oh, okay, I'm just seeing it this way because I'm here right now. Maybe you're right. You never, it's very rare to catch anybody saying that. It's more like, oh, you're wrong because I know what I feel and what I feel is right. You know, that's what they will say. And then you're sat there thinking, oh, okay, this person clearly thinks that their feelings are real in the sense that they're validating what's actually going on, when really their feelings are just validating something that they've picked up within their past information, you know? And then they're not able to listen to themselves properly internally and then decipher what's going on in front of them. They take things way too seriously, you know, just at that point, I call people crazy. Crazy in the sense of they're incredibly confused internally. And at that point, you're just going to listen to a bunch of ego and a bunch of nonsense about a bunch of yelling. And it's like, yeah, I ain't got time for this. So I shift and I just scoot on out and I'm gone like a puff of smoke.
Okay. All right. That's a good chunk of information, crowd. Good chunk of information. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to get into these lucid dream recalls. Actually, this one is actually a, and I got my notes right here. So I'm going to throw myself to the wolves first. And I've never done this. And I hear a lot of different takes on this, a lot of different perspectives on actually reading your dreams public or live, because this is actually a part of you. But I want to read, I just felt led to read this one today, because there's a lot of people that this actually out-of-body experience was the experience that beyond a shadow of a doubt, I knew that I was energy. And it just separated ego from energy. So I'm going to read this. It's not very long. And after I read this, you ladies and gentlemen, get ready. You can call in 734-230-2744. I'll let you know when to call in so we won't get bombarded. We're going to start listening to some of yours, and we're going to get Crop back on here. And we're just going to share information. But this particular out-of-body experience was October 27, 2015. You see what I'm saying? 2015 is when I had that. Nobody could take this from me. Nobody could ever tell me that I was just flesh of my flesh and a humanoid. You know, I knew I was energy after this. And it said I had a astral projection where I became conscious of all of the sexual energy. Stay with me on this. I used up to date in this carnation. Sexual energy, okay? But it wasn't, when I had this vision, it wasn't a shameful vision of all of the people that I slept with. It was nothing like that, ladies and gentlemen. It was, and I wrote this way strategically. I knew in my consciousness that it was all of myself, my energy that I shared with other energies. But it gets deep. It gets deep. I'm going to break it down. So I was aware. I saw this. Okay. I could also see the three, and Crop just really touched on this a little bit. That's why I smiled. I could also see the 3-dimensional figures. It was like a hologram, or persons. I wrote, or persons, right? I shared that energy with. Right? I could see him. It was like a hologram. I was looking, but I was looking. It's hard for me to explain this. I could see them. I could see them all at the same time. See? So I know I wasn't in the physical. I was energy. Nothing was hidden from me. Nothing was hidden from me. I could see everything simultaneously at the same time, and it was energy. Okay? I remember feeling a separation from myself when I became, I guess, lucid of this energy, and that energy was me. I felt the separation of that energy being a part of me. So this is that oneness that we are all made out of energy, and we are all one. I started to become conscious and lucid of this separation. It was actually me, which I shared with, it's going to get deep, myself. I know that sounds crazy. All the energy gathered together to reunite with me once again. So just to catch up, I had this vision. I was out of body. It all happened at once. It was nothing. I didn't have to hum anything. It just happened. I saw all of my energy that was separated from me in this carnation. And I saw the holographic, it could have been ego. I just saw like holographic visions all at the same time of everyone that I shared this energy with. All of them at the same time. And I felt the separation of myself. So I knew all of this energy was me. Not in form, but just in energy. Real profound. Okay. To reunite with me. Okay. I emerged with this energy once again. I felt vibrant and full of life. I was in a state of pure energy, conscious, without a physical body, conscious. Okay. There was no form. I remember seeing the color of this energy, but I have no English words to describe the color of this energy as this energy was reuniting with me. It was a color. So I also put here in my notes, if I would fit within the color scheme, if I had to try to match this color to the color scheme that we have now here in 3D, it would be between green and yellow, but yet it was neither. This event was like a reuniting. I could see each duplicate energy source. Duplicates. And see, that's making sense now, because we were talking about these infinite timelines that we actually duplicate ourselves. We're just duplicating. Nothing is ever the same. It's not the way we perceive it, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I say when I wake up, it's not a new day, it's a new life. It's a duplication of my consciousness existing simultaneously in an infinite mentalism of mind. So I could see each duplicate energy source connect back to me as one. And I said, once we, that's this illusion of we now on this call. We all seem separated right now, but we're all one energy. It's all the same energy, separated by ego. We merged and drifted off into the cosmos. Now, that was a year ago, ladies and gentlemen. A year ago in what, 3 days? That's how important this journal is. And once I had that experience, kind of like what Ryan was saying and somebody was saying in the chat, I could give two flying fucks what somebody really thinks about me if they think that, oh, you don't really think you're energy, do you, Derek? You don't really think you're not a human, do you, Derek? You can't take that from me. That's so sacred to me right now. And my lucid dreams and my astral projections, I wish my wife was here, is just as important as me walking in this awakened state. My wife knows the times when I meditate 3 times a day. She knows if she wakes up before me, not to bump around if I'm still asleep. It's that important to me, because I realize you have to fight this illusion of time. Because if you don't, you will have no time, literally, to explore these parallel universes and timelines and these lucid dreams that we're talking about. This shit is real if you believe it's real. It's kind of like what Ryan was saying, and Big Bubba. I love Big Bubba. He said his timeline or his projections or his manifestations or his universe might not be the same as mine, because we're not projecting the same type of energies and the same type of realities. Crop, you want to touch on that? Perception on that, or anything you want to add to that?
I guess it's kind of like a glitch. It's like energy sorting itself out. To reiterate on what I said earlier about the flow of, or that dance of people's perceptions and playing those roles of the characters. Eventually, if you know about how people burst into different dimensions, parallel dimensions, predicated upon their frequency, then I guess those interactions where people dance and their vibrations don't match is a cause for them to then realign on another frequency, another point of space, which looks like it's the same one here, but really you're just realigning to another dimension where that being, if they come into play again, is actually a match to who you are as a person, which would be that quantum jumping effect, So if Bubba's saying how he's not even on the same frequency as you, that's probably a short-lived experience where he's telling you that, until he eventually quantum jumps to a frequency where he is more of a vibrational match to you. Not completely, but even if it's a little bit closer, that's what that perception of time is. And change is you basically seeing somebody who's a little bit closer to your frequency. And then the next morning you bump into him again, but it's a different version of him who's a little bit more on your frequency. And then it keeps happening and happening and happening until that person is completely on your frequency, completely submersed in the same things that you're into, and probably even looks like you, just a little bit. Dietary choices change, lifestyle changes to match his frequency, his or her frequency. That's that process. That's the illusion of change. It's the changing of frequencies, and if anything, movement. It's really nice when you can look at it from a different perspective. Especially if you look at it, if you're stepping back, you're seeing all this happen. And I got one of those really creative headspaces. If I was really, really good at After Effects, I could make one of the most beautifulest movies that depicts what I'm talking about, and it'll just click, But I like to look at everything as color. You know, I'd see people acting a certain way and they'll be like pink. And then somebody in front of them is like gray, a little slither of pink. And then he like jumps into another dimension where there's more pink there in that other person, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much all I can touch on when it comes to what you were talking about. I mean.
Okay. All right, cool. So we're going to take the time right now for you, ladies and gentlemen. We've been chattering now for, wow, almost an hour. I'm going to open up the phones, 734-230-2744. If you would like to talk about lucid dreams, if you have questions, or even if you want to take this time to share a brief lucid dream or dream call that you have, give us a call right now while we're waiting on the calls to come in, so we won't get too deep into the calls. My admin Crops said that I got a message, suggestions, talk about communicating to your subconscious through your dreams. Would you like to add anything to that question while we're waiting on the calls to come in? Until the calls come in, communicating with the subconscious through dreams?
I guess there is a way to further develop that if you haven't even gotten started. What you do is, as you're going to sleep, you deliberately create characters inside of your mind, understanding the fact that you are setting out the intention to create said character for a specific purpose, play with that character, and then you dismantle the character and merge back into oneness. Keep doing this until you're going very, 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 very deep into your subconscious mind. And then you'll not only become lucid later on in your dream, but you'll also be able to control and understand and communicate to whatever aspect of your subconscious mind, which will come up. And you'll also be able to interact with new areas of your subconscious mind, which are portrayed within your dreams as objects, people, or scenarios. And then find a way within those moments, if not the same way that you did at the beginning of the practice, to merge with your subconscious mind. Okay?
Okay. Let's jump on the calls now. Let's get some of these calls. Okay, caller, you are live on I'm Conscious
Hello?
Now. What with Derek and Ryan? You're live.
Hello?
Yes, you're live with Derek and Ryan.
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Can you hear me?
Hello? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, mute your live
Very
stream.
low.
Mute your live stream for me.
Hello?
Yes, mute your live stream for me, young lady.
I can't hear you very well.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I muted it.
Okay, can you hear me a little better now?
Yeah, it's kind of low, but I can hear you.
Okay, we got to work with it. You are live right now.
Okay.
You have the dance floor.
Oh my God. Hi, well, my name is Mitzi, and this is like the first time I actually made it on time to speak with you guys. But I do have this dream, but I'm not sure if it was, I don't know, maybe you can help me out. I was trying to astral project, and I've been trying for a year now, and I still haven't been able to do it. But at one point, I went through the vibrational state, and I felt myself floating up. And I shot up out of my roof, and I could feel myself flying, and I could feel the speed of the sun and everything. And out of nowhere, I started falling. And I freaked out, and I told myself that nothing was going to happen, and that I started flying away, like I just into a city. But my main problem is that I don't know if that was an astral projection or a lucid dream. So I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me, I don't know.
Okay. Crop, you want to touch in on that?
The way you described it sounds like a astral projection. If it's a lucid dream, it'll often, people use they'll use different phrases, different words to describe their dreams. Can you remember going into the dream?
Can you remember going into the dream?
No, I don't. I just remember myself floating up, and then I'm flying up into the sky, and I'm falling, and then
Where was she floating
right before I hit the ground, when I told myself that nothing was gonna happen to me, and then I started flying. That's when I think it was the lake that I was in.
Was you floating up out of your body?
Were you floating up out of your body? Were you floating up out of your body?
What if I'm floating out of my body?
Yeah, were you floating upward out of the body?
Yeah, I was laying down and I felt myself like levitating out of my body. I went through the vibrational stage and everything. But I'm still very new at this, so I don't know if I was an astral projection or a lucid dream. I'm not sure.
Sounds like an astral projection to me. What is your name?
Missy.
Missy. Thank you so much for your energy. And that was indeed, it sounds like an astral projection to me. So
okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. And I've always been able to remember my dreams since I was little, so I wasn't sure.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for calling, okay?
Thank you, guys. Oh my God, thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
It's definitely a astral projection, and the reason why I say that is because I told you today, this morning I floated out of my body, and I didn't want to project, and I floated right out of my body up into the ceiling. Astral projection. Let's get somebody else on.
Hello?
Yes, 615. This is Derek and Ryan live with I'm Conscious Now What? You are live on the air. What's your name?
Hi, this is Yolanda.
Hi, Yolanda.
Hi, Ryan. Hi, Derek. It's so good to hear from you guys. I'm so glad you guys have this platform. Thank you very much for it.
Glad that you're here participating, jumping on these calls. What's going on?
I did have a question. I am going to eventually get with Ryan on his online special where he helps people out. But I did want to ask a quick question. I went to see a shaman a few days ago, maybe a week ago, I think. And I was telling this shaman about I think it was an astral projection, and I think it started out being a lucid dream and jumped into astral projection. I'm not sure, but it had to do with mirrors and me seeing myself in mirrors and being able to, I don't know if I was fitting myself into different aspects, but he was telling me that was something that was dangerous, and I was just calling because now, ever since he said that, be careful, that's so dangerous. Like, I can't astral project anymore, and I tried to do it, and I tried to do what I did before, listen to the astral projection music and everything, but I've had a problem since then trying to astral project because, I don't know, he probably gave me the fear base of it being dangerous with the mirrors and everything, but I didn't do it on purpose. It just is what came up in my astral projection or dream.
He probably was projecting his belief predicated upon what he's experienced. But for me, in the astrals, mirrors have been wonderful tools. They're great things for identifying things which are hiding themselves, for even noticing certain aspects of yourself in the mirror. Mirrors are really good. They're pretty much gateways. They're not dangerous. I mean, I've never experienced anything freaky, scary, or just straight up dangerous through a mirror. From my experience, mirrors have only aided me in astral projection. It's just really, it's the reaction you get, or the reaction or in other words, it's how you react to what you're seeing in the mirror that determines what you think is dangerous or not. Like, I looked in the mirror one time when my astral body wasn't fully formed, and I freaked out because my astral body was all flaccid and melting and everything. So I thought it was scary at the time. But really, in my astral body, it's just energy, and it wasn't molded properly. After a while, I actually used mirrors to make sure that I was all in one piece, you know? So mirrors aren't a bad thing. Did he tell you why it was a bad thing? Did he at least mention the logic behind his reasoning?
Not. He was almost as though he knew something within himself and really want to come out and tell me type thing. Like, well, okay, well, you had dreams about a mirror, so he's like, well, that's kind of dangerous a little bit, and you need to watch out for that stuff. And don't worry, you're perfect within yourself. You're perfect as you are. And I do understand that we're all perfect beings. Originally who we are, but at the same time, you still want to be able to explore who you are and understand who you are.
Right. Well, if he didn't even tell you a reason as to why you should be scared, then logically you shouldn't be scared. I mean, if he had told you that there was something ugly on the other side that takes somebody's soul, and if he created this story which made you scared, that's a reason there. That's a real reason for you to be scared. But if he didn't give you a reason, you shouldn't be afraid of something which doesn't exist, which would be what he didn't give you. If he just warned you, then fair enough. But really, I would have probed him quite a bit as to why I should be afraid. Otherwise, I'd still play with mirrors.
Sounds like to me he actually put one of his fears on her. Maybe it's something that he's fearful of, mirrors. Maybe he had a bad experience with mirrors. And, when you brought up the mirrors, oh, no, don't mess with mirrors. You know what I mean? A lot of the fear that we pick up in this carnation, a lot of it, some of it we experience, but a lot of it is something that somebody else told us that they experienced, and we just hang on to it. And that's in your unconscious mind where that fear is that's preventing you. You might not even be conscious of that, but that might more than likely be a block that's keeping you from astral projecting now.
Plus, think about it, the conditions are completely different for her. They might have experienced something. Yeah.
Ryan, he did tell me, and Derek, he did tell me that once you're in realms like that and you start to astral project, if you don't have enough experience in that realm, then you don't know something may be trying to take over you, or something that's in that realm that may do something to try to harm you or get attached to you. I think that was exactly what I think that's something that probably made me nervous. But as far as with the astral projection with you guys, like, I hear that it's a learning experience and you go through it, but he mentioned that you shouldn't do it because maybe something could attach to you, and if you don't have any, fears about it or understanding about it enough, then you shouldn't.
The only way to gain experience or understanding is to do it. So it's either one of those things where you get involved and you become a master at it, or you're afraid to jump, you're afraid to try something new and to become really good at something which could potentially change your life. So from where I'm sitting, it depends what you want. Do you want to become really good at it? Do you want to learn throughout your experiences? Or are you afraid of even trying?
Caller?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Hit her again, Ryan.
The only way to learn something new is to be a part of it, is to do those things. You'll gain experience through the practice of astral projection. So really, it's one of those cases whereby you either do it and learn as you go, or you're just afraid to jump in the first place and you don't even try, and then you'll end up missing out on something that could potentially change your life. So what would you prefer? Would you prefer to jump at it and play with astral projection and learn how to become a master at it? Or would you prefer not to touch it at all?
Well, I definitely prefer to jump at it, and I just wanted to make sure there wasn't something that I was doing incorrectly or something that I was creating, because I'm still going through the process of the 3D and trying to separate and trying to gain a higher vibration and higher experience. So I definitely do want to still do it. I guess I just stopped out of fear. I guess because of what you said, that I was afraid I was going to bring something in, or maybe bring something against my family, or, you know.
Okay. All right. Well, caller, thank you so much for calling in. We got to get some more. We got a ton of people waiting to get online. We love you so much. And thank you so much for your energy. Okay.
Thank you. I love you guys.
Okay.
See ya.
And, you know, and see, Crump, we got a lot of new people that listen to us. And I'm going to take some more calls, but I just want to throw this in there first before because if you've been listening to this show for any point in time, what you're understanding now is this show is a polarity-based show, meaning we don't put our foot down on anybody's neck and say, this is the way and the only way that something could be done, because we're conscious that, Great Apple. We're conscious now, and we know that in consciousness, it's infinite. It's infinite experiences. It's infinite perceptions. It's just infinite. Okay, we've been taught in this holographic, egotistic life based on agendas: good, bad, right, wrong. You know, don't do that. You should do this. Agendas. We've been living in agendas, carnation after carnation after carnation. So what I'm trying to say is, the astral realm can be perceived through someone full of fear, who can have a projection that is just all fear. And they can share that experience on the internet, which is free expression. And then you can have someone like me. I had an astral projection where I saw me as energy. You know what I mean? So, and I know the stuff is out there. I've read some of the horror stories out of the astral projection stories, but when I read them, I know it's coming from a place of fear. And what I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to understand, if you're brand new, you have to get to the point where, and I said this before, that you are habitual about what you're thinking, your thoughts, controlling thoughts. What are you thinking right now? What are you focused on? Are you conscious of your thoughts to the point where you're catching your thoughts, where you're becoming lucid of different vibrations, or your energy going up and down? That's why we talk about this in the walking state, because once this becomes habitual, that you're conscious, where you guys hear me, yeah, and I'm on the cusp because I know when I'm on the cusp. You understand what I'm conscious of my thoughts. I know what's coming. Okay. And with that being said, when you become conscious, I mean, you're monitoring your thoughts, which starts from you just sitting down and becoming aware of your thoughts through meditation, years and years of meditation. It'll come habitual. It'll become a way of life that you'll know that you are your thoughts. We said this before, young lady, nothing gets to this three-dimensional realm without being thought about. You are a result of your thoughts right now. So, yes, absolutely, the astral realm could be a horrific experience for some of you based on your level of fear. If you're a fearful person, and you know where you're at, If you're a fearful person, if I could say, boo, and you, don't fuck with the astral realm right now. And I'm not saying that to discourage you. You have to overcome fear first. Because as soon as you're aware that you're out of your body and you're in a fearful state, you're going to attract beings, entities that you've never ever seen before. They feed off of fear. They feed off of your fear. So yes, it's real. The stories are real. You can't tell a person you ain't nothing happened to you, because you can't tell them that, because they experienced it. So what I'm trying to say is, it sounds good when we're talking about it. I remember in the beginning, and Ryan, and I didn't know how to take it when Ryan, I remember asking Ryan, why you didn't tell me, dude, that there was shadow people and entities, and I didn't know. And I never forget what Ryan told me. He never told me about anything in the astral realms. No shadow people, no entities, no nothing. He just taught me how to do it, and I did it. And when I got there and realized it, I remember asking him, and this is exactly what he said. True, too. He knew me like a T. I remember the next day, dude, what the fuck? Why didn't you tell me there were entities? And he was like, because you would have never did it. You remember that, Crawford? He said you would have never went if I would have told you from the jump. You had to experience it. And once I experienced it, you know what? I had to adjust to it because I knew that we were not alone and that the astral realm was the etheric, eternal. I call it the real realm because you can't die there. There's no time there. You understand what I'm saying? So we've become accustomed to a holographic realm that is dominated by time and agenda. That's this walking state. We're projecting from a higher perspective our consciousness to a lower vibrating state. So I hope that helped you, young lady. Ryan, you want to throw anything else in there? I got to get to another call. We way backed up on calls. We got like 20 of them waiting. You want to
bring someone else in?
Let's bring them in. Okay. All right. Let's get them in as many as we can. We love you and we thank you guys for calling. This is what it's all about. Excuse me. Yes, Derek and Ryan, you are live on I'm Conscious Now What?
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So I had to, because I know that I do secret, and I can pretty much make whatever kind of situation, whatever it is that I want, I can create people, I can create,
okay, ma'am.
in my own dreams, and I'm completely conscious of what happens in most of my dreams as it is. So I was trying to figure out, like, what is it that, how do you use that in, like, your waking bed? Because I know that everyone keeps talking about how it uses lucid dreams in reality, but I don't see how you can use it in that sense, you know?
Ma'am, I hate to tell you this, ma'am. You have a horrific connection. I couldn't make out anything you were saying. So I promise I'm looking at your number 702. If you can hang up and call back in, I'll get you back on the line because we can't even make out what you're saying. Okay. The connection is just real bad.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. You sound a little better now. You sound better now. Okay. Talk to me now.
All right.
Much better. Much better. Okay.
Right.
Go for it now. And she hung up, Crop. Okay. Oh, we love you. Let's get another one in. She sounded good at the end, but could you make out what she was saying at first, Crop?
I can make out a word.
Yeah, it was a bad connection. Let's get somebody else on.
Hello?
Yes, Eric code 708. This is Derek and Ryan. You're live on I'm Conscious Now What? What's your name and what's going on?
My name is Marvell, and I wanted to call in to share an experience that I've had with training. Now it's time to brought me into this whole consciousness movement.
You got the dance floor. We're all ears, Marvell.
Okay, so it all started when I was about maybe somewhere between 4 and 8. I'd always have these dreams where, well, more like nightmares, where this monster from some show I saw when I was a kid, they would always attack me in my dream. They would actually, like, eat me, and I'd wake up scared in the middle of the night. So it was occurring for, like, a really long time. It seemed like every nightmare I had, the same creature was in it, and it would always attack me. So well, it even got to the point, too, where it attacked me, and like one of the dreams, it like dragged me around the room by my leg, and then I woke up. So when I woke up, I actually felt where it was dragging me on my leg. So this occurred for like a little bit more, and then one day it started being friendly to me out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay. So it actually started helping me. So whenever something else would try to attack me in the dream, it would defend me. And it even got to the point to where in one of the dreams, I remember my brother was doing something to me, and the monster like came out of the closet and like bit his ear off. And I'm like, don't do that, that's my brother. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. So after that happened, we started actually becoming friends, like really good friends. And whenever something would happen, I'd actually call out on it, and it would come and help me. And I remember in one of the dreams, it took me to where it came from, and it was like some type of like reverse world from ours.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, this is when I actually really started to remember my dreams and could kind of control it, since I was actually calling out consciously on the creature to come in.
Mm-hmm.
So I know at one point, like when I got a little bit older, I stopped seeing the creature, and it stopped coming around. When I called its name, it wasn't coming anymore. But after this is when I really started to get into all this and everything. I didn't even know what it was called at the time, because I was a kid, so I had no way of finding that out until later on when I was in maybe 7th or 8th grade. And I know I met a couple of other people that were into the same thing that I was, about this whole like dreaming and consciousness and everything.
Okay.
So this is around the time when we started to use the internet.
Okay, my friend.
Yes.
Because we have so many calls, we got the core essence of the beginning of your dream. And I hate to do this. You know, I could talk to you all day, but we got 20 people waiting on the call. So time is not on our side. I'm trying to give you 3 or 4 minutes, but we got the call. We got your story, and we thank you so much for calling in. Okay. No disrespect.
Okay.
I just got to be mindful. We got a lot of people waiting. Okay. But what it sounded like is it started in fear-based, and then you got really used to your little monster, and you got over the fear, and you guys built up a little relationship. And because you no longer feared the monster, you could stay in the same realm with the monster, and actually he started protecting you. So you just got over the fear. You stayed in there.
Yeah.
Okay, my friend. Thanks for calling. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All righty. Peace and love.
Do you reckon he had a question, or was he just sharing?
He was sharing a story. That's why I stopped him. He was
That was
just
a good one. You can make a movie on that.
It was very, very good. Now let me try to get this special young lady back. I hope her connection is a little better. That was a great story. That's why I stopped him, because he could talk. I could have listened to him for an hour, man.
Hello?
702. I kept my promise. I put you at the head of the line. You're back live with Derek and Ryan on I'm Conscious Now What? With a better connection.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you much better. Just tell us your name and you got the dance floor. But I have to limit you now. Let me tell you up front. You have 4 minutes because we have so many calls coming in, okay? You'll hear a little horn kick in. When you hear that horn, I hate to be rude, but we're trying to get as many people on as we can, okay? Okay, go ahead. You're live.
Okay, so I was wondering, because I know that my own self, I can use the dreams, and I can like create my own reality in my dreams. And I can create my own characters and have them do whatever it is that I want. And so I remember that everybody in the chat was talking about how there's this way of using your lucid dreaming in your dreams to alter your actual reality. But for my own self, I don't kind of understand how that works and how you would turn lucid dreaming on your own 3D experience. So
Okay, loud and clear. You want to jump in on that one, Crop, or you want?
I don't think there's anything I can say to make that process make the most simplest of sense, because it is real and it is possible. When you do start off with lucid dreaming, and then you come here and you become very lucid, and you can manipulate this world the same way as you do your dream world. But the way to do that is really difficult to explain.
To try to simplify it, because I'm a lot more, I mean, what I do is pretty simple now. The way I incorporate lucid dreams into my awakening state is, number one, it's very, very simple. It's by the dream journal and writing things down and discerning, reading the dreams over. It's kind of like you're downloading, because this, you got to look at it like this. You're taking information from a non-physical realm, okay? And you're writing it down in a physical realm. You got to really simplify what you're doing. You're actually non-physical, you're lucid in a lucid dream. And as soon as you wake up, that's why it's so important. It's so simple. Trust me on this, ladies and gentlemen. You got to write it down, because think about what you're doing. You're taking non-physical and you're bringing it through consciousness into physical. Okay. So just by jotting those dreams down and rereading those dreams and getting discernment, ask your higher self for discernment. And this is what one good thing the caller before you said, that this gentleman said, everything you need, ladies and gentlemen, you have inside of yourself. That's true. So when you write these dreams down, if you don't understand them at first, get in that meditative state, right? And just say, higher self, discern this information for me. Discern it. Will yourself to discernment, and you'll start to get discernment in those dreams. And just from discernment, it'll automatically, without you having to try, let me try to make this, it'll become a way of life. You'll download it into your 3D awakened conscious, your conscious state. A lot of it'll stick to you because you're reading it. And just think, every habit that you've learned or everything that you learned in 3D, it came from repetition. Repetition. This is simple stuff. It's not complicated. It can get complicated when you get into Cropper's head and he really starts telling you ways to make it faster now. Because with Cropper, he can show you different ways to do it like that. Okay. That is low. I really got to find a way to get rid of that. Well, Georgie, everyone knows you're on the call. You're live, Georgia, I'm sorry. And we can't hear. I got to find a better way for that Skype, Ryan. Georgie, let me see if I can read this.
George is cool. I like that name, George. I'd call my daughter George if I had one. George.
Let me see if I can get you on, Georgie.
George Bailey and Riley.
Georgia, can you hear me? Okay, it's not the best way that I can get you live, but for some reason the Skype calls are kind of trebly. But you are live with Derek and Ryan. You got 4 minutes, young lady. Tell us what's going on.
Oh my God. I'm shy now. I can't even think. Okay, I want to share a dream that I had. It's not really a happy one. Should I share it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, basically, I had a dream about my cousin, and I think he was going through a bit of a tough time. And I saw him in a dream with his hands tied behind his back, and he was telling me that he felt ashamed and trapped, and he didn't know what to do. So, and then he just fell to the ground, and then he was dead. So I kind of lost touch with this cousin. I hadn't seen him for years. We lost touch, but then I was in touch with his sister. So I texted her and I told her I had this weird dream about your brother. She's like, oh, he's been suffering with depression for a few years. And I was like, well, I don't know, this dream just made me feel a bit panicky. Maybe you should try to get him some help. And then I don't know, I think maybe she didn't take me seriously, but like a few days later, he jumped off a building and committed suicide, and he died.
Wow.
And yeah, but the thing is like, I have dreams like this really often, and then after that she turned really cold with me, and she's kind of cut me off. And I find whenever I tell people, I think maybe if it's a negative thing, they kind of like distance themselves from me. I don't really understand that. I don't know if it's like they're blaming me or they're scared of me. But normally I have lovely dreams, and I see lovely beings, and I feel like I see my ancestors. I feel they will come to me in like bright lights, like golden lights and white lights, and I just feel like them sending me love. And I do normally have kind of, I do dream a lot before somebody like passes away. I usually dream about it.
Okay. Ryan?
That sounds really cool. You're actually having quite a few things happen there. By the way, she's not upset with you. She's upset with the fact that she had a warning and she didn't act on it. So she's upset with herself, and you're like a reminder of that. I wouldn't take it incredibly personally. If anything, you gave her the option, you know, you helped her out, you tried to help her out. She wouldn't be mad at you for that. She would just be upset with herself. What's happening there?
Her after, like she's like kind of was being very aggressive towards me after, and I just put it down to grief. But I do feel that she could have some guilt.
Oh yeah, aggression is a sign of sadness. A person goes from being sad to then being angry, and then they become hateful. So really, it's all.
After that, I've seen him in dreams, and he's come to me. And like I know some people say usually when people commit suicide, that usually they go through some kind of confusion. But he looked very happy, very beautiful, and he was giving me flowers.
Wow.
Have you told him that? Have you told her that?
No, I didn't tell her that because I don't know. I just had a feeling that it would make her feel more resentful. I don't know. I didn't share that with her. I just thought after that, I'm not sharing any of my dreams with her. But yeah, and she was at the time trying for a baby, and I felt I gave her advice to, like, you know, eat organic and exercise and look after her body, but she was just relying on IVF. And I said, I had this feeling like, you know, you need to do other things like maybe acupuncture, reflexology. And then she kind of brushed that aside, and she went and she was like covering her body in tattoos. And I just thought, like, she's putting toxins. It's like adding toxins. I don't know. I just thought it wasn't the right time. And then again, he came in my dream, and he said to me that she's not going to have a baby, and he was like angry with her. And then she got pregnant, and then she miscarried.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I did share that with her because I felt that was important, but she didn't listen.
If I was you, I would just start telling her everything that guy's saying. Whether she likes it or not, she's gonna, you know, there needs to be a point in her life where she starts listening to you. And even if she doesn't want to, just warn her and say it's coming from him. I'm passing on the message. Hey, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger, right?
Yeah. I got shot.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling. Okay.
Thank you.
We love you.
So much, and thank you. Hi to everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
See ya.
Okay. Wow. What an incredible stories, man. Wow. And that's just another. See, a lot of people would take that call and they would instantly gravitate towards the negativity because they don't understand death. They look at death at the end of a thing, but it's actually the beginning of the non-physical from physical. And the positive was that she was able, and if I was her, I would definitely make it my point to say, hey, I've seen whatever this gentleman's name is, and he's so happy and he has flowers. Because if she can perceive and take the negative part, you know what I'm saying, Crop? Like, she listened to her when she told him what was going to happen, and it happened. So she has to know that this lady is tapping into something. But once again, we're talking about fear. It kind of freaked her out because her perception of death is, oh, I'll never see him again. He killed himself. He's probably going to burn in hell. She's all of these thoughts and things are holding her down. But the positive part, and ma'am, if you're listening, meditate on it and say, hey, I've saw such and such and such and such. I don't know the name, but he's so happy. He's so happy and he's giving me flowers on. Yeah, that's positive news. And she can take that energy any way she wants to take it. But I think you'll feel better telling her that, giving her that breath of fresh air. So that was, positive call to me. I don't know about what you think, Rob.
Sure thing. Well, what she's dealing with there is just a person who's in a lot of resistance, a lot of, what's the word? Not so much regret. She's just upset with herself that she's not acting. So really, you got a person who's who just doesn't want to look at herself, who doesn't want to accept the fact that she messed up. She's in denial with a lot of things, and she hates moving towards what feels uncomfortable. That's all it is. You get a lot of people like that in life. So again, it's not her fault. She's doing the right thing. She's tapping into everything. It's just some people aren't ready to hear this stuff because they're not ready to deal with themselves.
Yeah. Let's jump back on the get some more calls on here. And once again, we thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for participating. We're trying to get you guys and girls on the calls, just so many.
Hello.
321, it's Derek and Ryan. You're live on I'm Conscious Now One. Now what? Now what?
Oh, I can't really hear you that well, but I have to question. Okay. I have to go
okay.
a little bit, but is it possible to go from a lucid dream to an OB?
It is absolutely possible to go from a lucid dream to an out-of-body experience. Yes, it is.
Yes, but I'm really sorry, but I have to go right now. So
it's okay. Thank you for calling in. We just wanted to get back to you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Ryan, how is that possible? Could you elaborate on that? Because I know a lot of people are interested in that question. How is it possible to go from a lucid dream into an OB? I do it all of the time. Could you kind of break that down a little bit?
Well, what happens is you become very lucid in the dream. You could even be unconscious in the dream. All of a sudden, the dream makes sense. You're aware that you're dreaming, and then your dream falls apart around you. And then you find yourself being poured out of your subconscious mind, then thrown straight into the hypnagogic state. And then from there, you get up out of your body into the astrals. So there's still a transition there from your subconscious to the physical body, 3D, then the hypnagogic, and then the astral state. Then you get up. That's how it happens. It's never you're in the dream, then it shifts into the astrals. That doesn't happen. There's always a transition in the sense of a set series of things that need to take place first in order to go from inside to outside.
Okay, cool. Going right back to the phone lines, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're enjoying this show. Let's try to get some more on here. We're fighting against the illusion of time now. There's never enough time when you're having fun. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, you're live with Derek and Ryan on I'm Conscious Now What? Could you state your name? You're live, my friend. Okay. Did not want to be live. Maybe it took me too long to call that particular person back. The phone lines are still open. If you want to get in on this chat, this discussion, we're talking about lucid dreams. We're talking about out-of-body experiences. We're talking about dream recall. A lot of great calls coming in, really expanding, my way of looking at things. And now they'll come back in.
Who is this?
This is Derek and Ryan from I'm Conscious Now What? Did you call in to be on the show?
Oh yeah, hello.
What's up, my friend? Tell us your name. You're live on I'm Conscious Now What with Derek and Ryan.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to ask, like, when you meditate, like, what types of meditations would help you with, like, lucid dreaming? Like, are there different types of meditations?
That's a great question. Let me go into my Rolodex of meditations. Now, I'm sure there are meditations out there that are labeled, you know, lucid dream meditations. I'm sure that they've been tagged to help with becoming lucid. But just from my experiences, what I'm telling you from, when I meditate and just me learning how to focus my awareness on a specific thought or a specific energy or a specific thing, I'm actually practicing in the meditation becoming lucid from focus. You know what I mean? So the act of meditating, you're actually practicing becoming lucid with your awareness. Lucidity is just becoming aware that you are in a non-physical dream or a non-physical timeline. You understand what I'm saying? So to answer your question, I'm sure you can go on Google and type in meditation that helps you become lucid, and it might be chants or mantras or things like that. But when it's all said and done,
and I feel like,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
hello?
Go ahead.
Like, you know how you get those, like, thoughts that, like, just cling to your mind. You don't want them in your mind. You just want to focus on what it is you really want. But there's always thoughts that just pop up and try to intermingle with the thoughts you want to focus on. How do you get rid of that?
You just let them flow and don't focus on them. See, a lot of times people get into the combat of fighting the thoughts from flowing through their consciousness. Like, I don't want you there. Just don't give it any thought. Be aware that the thought is there. Like, you're aware that this came up, right? But then just focus your awareness on something else.
Okay.
And that's a process, you know, and it's easier said than done, but it still happens to me. It's stuff that I don't feel like dealing with. It's going to pop up. When we say focus on, like, I don't want to, why the hell are you in my mind? No. Let it come up. Because a lot of times your subconscious is saying, hey, what do you want me to do with this? You were thinking about this. You had a lot of emotion attached to this situation or this thought. What do you want me to do with this? Do you want to deal with this now or what? What is it? Because the energy and the emotion is attached to that. So if you don't give a lot of emotion or a lot of thoughts, two thoughts that pop up in your consciousness or your awareness, something else will take its place like that. Just practice focusing on something else. Don't fight it though. Don't fight it. Eventually it'll go away. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for calling in. Oh, Ryan, what happened to the time, man? What happened to the time?
It flew. The computer was... the time did change in the UK.
It changed?
Yeah, my computer just told me that we were supposed to go live 38 minutes ago.
Hey, no, I'm going to go over to the chat. We got time for one more call. So if you want to call in, the number is 734-230-2744. Call in now. Was it? And we got him already. Good, Antonio. My man Antonio, what's going on, my friend?
Oh, hey Derek. Wow, I was actually expecting to get in.
You are live, man.
So, how are you guys doing?
We do great. Hear you loud and clear, my friend.
Oh wow, the connection is really bad for some reason.
It's the connection. It's just your Skype connections are really, they sound real trebly, but you're live. Tell us what's going on.
Well, nothing much. How have you guys been doing?
Oh man, everything is beautiful on my end.
Well, I don't really have that much to share about lucid dreaming. I've only had one lucid dream, and it wasn't really that long. So I'll just say another experience I've had in a dream recently. So there's this dream where I was sitting around some people on a table, and for some reason one of the one of the people there handed me a piece of bread. And somehow I knew that that bread was drugged, which was the weird thing. And I knew what would happen, so that's why I took it, and I took a bite off. And I actually had the intent in that dream to control what was going to happen from the drug and that bread. And as soon as I actually took a bite off that bread, I started seeing colors and different things. And because I felt that the experience wasn't strong enough, I took another bite off the bread.
Damn.
And yeah, and as soon as I did that, things got stronger. And immediately after that, I was kind of in a, like, I felt in my body, like I was in a body, but the weird thing was that the body didn't actually feel like it was mine, which was a weird thing. And also that it felt like really real. Like I felt like, it felt like not like 3D, but it just felt real. And because it felt so real, that got me really excited, and I woke up.
Woke up.
Yeah.
Hey, Antonio, thanks for sharing that with us, my man. You are a regular, Antonio.
Yep, I've been here since I think the first stream, actually. So yeah.
Well, we love you, man. Thank you for sharing that with us today.
No
okay.
problem.
All right. Peace and love, my brother. Peace and love.
Yeah.
Sounds like a walk-in to me.
Yeah.
Like a being walked into his dream, created a thought form, which would have put him into a higher state of consciousness, molded that thought form into the shape of something that he was already familiar with, ate it, and then took off. That's cool.
Some cool dreams today, man. I could run this show for 4 hours. If you tried to call in and you didn't get in today, I really, really apologize. It's just, we love it. We love it. But I'll do my best to get as many people as we can on the call. This is your platform just as much as it's our platform. We're heading to the top of the hour. Mr. Ryan Cropper, your last words on today's show.
Last words. I guess it would be not to fear change. A lot of people like to moan about the situation rather than doing anything about it. But as soon as you make the decision to be somewhere else, it's like it happens so fast. It is so easy. Like people's lives, I don't think people realize how easy they can move out of their current situation, whether that be somebody bothering them. Just don't pick up the phone, block them even. People will have an argument with somebody over on Facebook for months. I just block them straight away. You know, why would you put yourself through that? So it's like, I guess don't be afraid of change in that sense. Embrace it, if anything. Realize the power of the fact that you can at least set up within your life the conditions to allow you to feel okay. And that's, in that sense, love yourself enough not to let others bother you, to pick at your mind and your consciousness, to steal your energy, to distract you from resonating at an emotional frequency, which would have otherwise made you probably more creative or more expressive. I mean, think about it. When you're really happy, the things you do throughout your day are so different compared to when you're miserable. People make you miserable. So you're going to allow them to make you miserable, thus stealing your time, your creational energy, that energy that otherwise would have been a high frequency, which then caused you to do something different within your day. Or you're just gonna do you know? I say just do you, be happy, and embrace change. That's about it.
I'm just gonna piggyback that on my last words. A lot of times, ladies and gentlemen, you hear us say that higher vibrating entities feed off of our energy. Let me bring that down. That law of correspondence, as above, so below, so you can understand that there's levels to energy vampires, you know, especially when you're vibrating in 3 density, which is really, when you look at in my whole experience, and I'm so conscious of this now. That's why I'm about to cuss. I don't give a fuck anymore. Not in a selfish way, though. Not in a selfish way. You know what I'm saying? I just don't allow other people's, make it simple, stinking thinking to affect me anymore, because I realize that they have free will. They can think whatever they want to think. They can project whatever they want to project. I'm not going to go back and forth with something that someone is projecting into their reality, because it does not have to fit in my reality. And once I got over that, you know, it's stages. It's stages. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, don't make this complicated. It's not complicated. Trust me, I'm not a complicated person, right? It's simple. Everything that you need on this journey is inside of you. But, and I say this all the time, you must transfer that will, that intent, and that desire that you have, and you know what's on the inside of you. You heard that saying before, I can do whatever I put my mind to, right? You got to want this. You have to want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt. Don't take nobody's word for it. It's good to be on shows like this so you can hear a variety of perspective, just to know that you're not losing your freaking mind, that this is happening. That's why we put this platform up, so we can hear all of the stories, to give you guys a place to go where you can sit in the energy and feel calm. That's your creative energy, to be amongst people who vibrate at similar vibrations. Okay. But the journey starts when you grab that illusion of time by the throat, grab that illusion of time by the freaking throat, and say, I'm taking what's mine. I'm taking the time to find out who I am. And once you know without a shadow of a doubt who you are, and I always ask people that, do you know who you are? In the chat, where are you? Are your parallel realities just as vivid as this quote unquote walking state? And you'll know the first time it happens to you. I'm telling you, first time you pop in one of those parallel realities and wake up and you realize that, damn, I'm telling you, you're going to start asking yourself, what the fuck is really real? What's real and you see what I'm saying? We've been trapped. We've been trapped. And I'm realizing, not against our free will, we've been manipulated with our will to stay trapped in a frequency, an illusion, a holographic projection. What you seeing here seems physical, seems real. It's all energy. And the more you turn within, and the more you sit with yourself and just block out. The young man said, Derek, how do I block it out? Give it space and just turn to something else. And practice that intent. Here's some good habits, and we're going to close on this. Here's some good, simple, super simple habits to pick up. Be conscious of when you yawn, when the body gets tired throughout your day. That's being lucid throughout the day, to be what's going on. Don't get so bombarded with this illusion of life, with this illusion of ego. I got to do this. Be conscious every time you yawn, because when you yawn, that's your physical body saying, hey, I'm tired. Your consciousness is not tired. These are the great times to project, to astral project, is when that body gets tired. Okay. Now, depending on your fear level of where you are with fear, and we all know where we are, I just don't recommend anyone that's brand new, who's full of fear, to astral project at night when it's dark at night. I just don't. And I say that not from a space of fear. It's just I've been there before. Try your astral projections first thing in the morning where the room is a little lighter. You understand what I'm saying? Or midday between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. Try to get out of body then, okay? Because certain entities feed in the dark. It's like they come out they like the dark. And if you're not comfortable in the void, in the dark, then don't do it in the dark. You know what I mean? So just try simple things of paying attention to when you yawn. That's like a signal. Oh man, I can astral project. Go somewhere and sit down. Let that body go to sleep. Stay conscious and get up out of body. You know what I mean? And the dream journal, write everything down. And I'm telling you, when you first put that pad next to your mantle, next to that light, you're going to have that dream. You're going to wake up. It's going to be 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. You're going to wake up from a dream. And I'm telling you what you're going to say. Fuck that. I ain't writing that down. I don't feel like write it down. That's the discipline. That's that will. That's that desire I'm talking about. You're going to be tired. Write it down. Put the pen down. Go back to sleep. You wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning with another fresh dream because it's there. Write it down. It's going to become a habit. Okay? It's not rocket scientist. It just takes will, desire, intent, and focus. Join us here. Same time, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it was daylight savings time today. So I don't know if I was an hour late or an hour earlier, but we still got a lot of people here. But same time, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After this stream, show your support by liking this stream and taking that little link right in under the description box. It says share. Take that link and post that link on your social media to help us. As you guys can see, the calls are picking up now. I can't even get everybody on. This is how we're sharing this energy. Okay. And Wednesday is going to be a very, 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 I'm telling you, special show. Okay. I won't leak it, but make sure you join us Wednesday at 1 p.m. We're going to do something a little different, and it's going to be geared back towards healing meditations, a specific meditation to help a group of souls overcome something that happened in their lives that's very, very drastic. It kind of shook you up and you can't get rid of it. We're going to go through some things to help you, because I too went through some things in this carnation that I got shook up, and I'm going to be sharing some things of how I shook loose of those frequencies and broke free to get to where I am now. So we're going to do that Wednesday. I'm Conscious Now What.com has the arches of all of the shows on our own website. Show your support over there. We got products, we got t-shirts, we got mugs, we got astral projection pillowcases. We got a lot of things over there, and the insider reports, things that we don't talk about live because of the strikes. I update at I'mConsciousNowWhat.com. You can go over there. Everything is going to be updated today by, what time is it? By 5 p.m. Fresh site. Okay. We love you. We'll see you Sunday, same time, same place. And
I'm conscious.
Now what?
What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Yeah. Hold it. What you talking about, doctor?
Peace.
See ya.